Your father was 28 years old. He had a wife, 2 kids, a mortgage, and a salary that, in today's money, was less than what you make right now. You earn more. You have more. You are more educated. You have access to more financial tools, more information, more investment apps than any generation that came before you. And your savings account has less in it right now than you spent on things you cannot remember last month. This video is not going to tell you to cut your coffee. It is going to tell you something that men who built empires understood 2,000 years ago that nobody in the modern financial world will ever teach you, because it has nothing to do with money and everything to do with who you are becoming. Here is a number that should keep you up at night. The average person between 22 and 35 spends 31% of their after-tax income on things they did not plan to buy. Not rent, not groceries, not bills. Unplanned, unintentional, unconscious spending. Nearly 1/3 of everything you earn disappears before you even noticed you spent it. But here is what nobody tells you. The problem is not the spending. The problem is what happens in the 2 seconds before the spending. Something happens in your mind. A trigger, a feeling. Boredom, stress, loneliness, inadequacy. The sense that somewhere, something is missing, and the spending is not the disease. It is the symptom. The fever your body runs to fight something much deeper. There is a second layer to this, and it is more dangerous. It is called lifestyle inflation, and it is the reason that every time you get a raise, you feel exactly as financially stressed as you did before it. You earn $40,000. You live like someone who earns $40,000. You earn $60,000. You live like someone who earns $60,000. You earn $80,000, and somehow, you are still living paycheck to paycheck. The number changes. The gap never does. 2,000 years ago, a man who had more wealth, more power, more resources than any human being alive, sat down alone at night and wrote something that should stop you cold. He wrote, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." His name was Epictetus, and he wrote that while owning absolutely nothing. Epictetus was born a slave. He owned nothing. He had no savings account, no investment portfolio, no retirement plan, and he was, by his own account, the wealthiest man he knew. Not because he had money, but because he had mastered something that no amount of money can buy, and no amount of spending can fill. He called it the discipline of desire, the ability to want exactly what you have, and to be genuinely unmoved by what you do not. Epictetus wrote, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Read that again. Not earn more, not save more, not invest in index funds. Want less. Seneca, one of the wealthiest men in Rome, wrote a letter to his friend Lucilius that reads like it was written for 2026. He said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Seneca understood something that your bank, your credit card company, every advertiser you have ever seen is desperately hoping you never figure out. The problem is not your income. The problem is that your identity has become attached to what you own. You do not buy things because you need them. You buy them because of what owning them says about who you are. The car is not transport. It is a statement. The apartment is not shelter. It is a signal. The watch, the shoes, the restaurant. Every purchase is a sentence. In the story you are telling the world about a version of yourself you are still trying to become, the Stoics had a practice. Marcus Aurelius called it voluntary discomfort. Once a month, he would deliberately live as if he had nothing. Simple food, simple clothing. No luxury, no comfort beyond what was needed. Not because he was punishing himself, but because he wanted to know, is my happiness actually attached to what I own, or does it survive without it? Here is the modern version of that practice. For the next 30 days, every time you're about to make an unplanned purchase, you wait 48 hours. Not forever, not never. 48 hours. And after 48 hours, you ask yourself one question: am I buying this because I genuinely want it, or because of what I was feeling in the moment I saw it? That single question, practiced consistently, will do more for your financial life than any budgeting app you have ever downloaded. The second practice is harder. Marcus Aurelius called it self-examination. Every Sunday evening, open your bank statement, not to feel guilty, not to budget, but to ask for each transaction, what was I feeling when I spent this? You will find a pattern. You always do. Stress at work, Uber Eats 3 times that week. Loneliness on a Friday, Amazon delivery on Saturday. Feeling overlooked, something expensive on Sunday. Your bank statement is not a financial document. It is an emotional diary, and until you read it like one, nothing changes. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal, "Confine yourself to the present. Financial anxiety lives in the future. Financial shame lives in the past, and neither of them has ever paid a single bill." The Stoics practice something called negative visualization, the deliberate imagining of loss, not to frighten yourself, but to rediscover the value of what you already have. Tonight, before you go to sleep, spend 5 minutes imagining that your income disappeared, not forever. Just imagine it gone. What would you miss most? What would you discover you did not need at all? Seneca practiced this every day. He called it the rehearsal of poverty, and he said it made him richer than the income ever did, because it taught him what he was actually spending for. You are not broke because you do not earn enough. Most people reading their bank statement right now earn more than 90% of humans who have ever lived. You are financially struggling because you live in a world designed at extraordinary cost and sophistication to make sure you always feel like you need more. The algorithm knows when you are bored. The store layout knows when you are stressed. The sale knows when you are insecure. You are not weak. You are being targeted by professionals, and the Stoics are the only philosophers who trained specifically to beat that game. The Stoic approach to wealth is not complicated, but it requires something that no app can give you. It requires character. Here's the formula. First, know what you actually need, not what the algorithm thinks you need, not what your social circle signals you should have, what you actually need. Second, want nothing beyond it, not as deprivation, as discipline, as the one financial habit that, compounded over time, builds more wealth than any investment strategy. Third, and this is where the Stoics separate from every other financial philosophy, every dollar you do not spend unconsciously is a dollar that can work while you sleep. The Stoics were not against wealth. Seneca was extraordinarily rich. Marcus Aurelius governed the wealthiest empire alive. They were against attachment to wealth, against needing it to feel complete, because the man who does not need money is the only man free enough to actually build it. The goal is not to stop enjoying life. The goal is to stop spending life, trying to feel something that spending was never able to give you. You are not broke because of bad luck. You are not broke because of your income. You are financially stuck because nobody ever told you that the war for your money is actually a war for your identity. And the Stoics won that war 2,000 years before the algorithm existed. Epictetus, and the man who owned nothing, left us with one final instruction: make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. You cannot control the housing market. You cannot control inflation. You cannot control what your parents earned or what generation you were born into, but you can control the 48-hour pause before the purchase, the Sunday evening honest account, the 5 minutes of negative visualization. These are not small things. These are the entire thing. 3 things tonight, not next week. 1. Open your bank statement. Read it like a diary, not a document. 2. Write down the last 5 things you bought that you did not need. Next to each one, write what you were feeling when you bought it. 3. Pick one subscription, one service, one recurring charge. Cancel it tonight, not because you cannot afford it, because you are choosing consciously what your money does. That is the beginning. That is what Epictetus called the discipline of desire. And it starts with one decision. You are not broke because of bad luck. You are broke because nobody until right now told you what the war was actually about. Now you know. If this changed something, share it with one person who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more of this. I will see you in the next one.